All right, morning, everyone. Can't possibly say it's a good morning based on what Bitcoin has done, but in a way, it is a good morning. I am wearing, of course, the Bitcoin birthday shirt. This is Satoshi Corner, who usually watches the stream. So if you're watching, go ahead and say something in the live chat. This is I actually usually it comes with a Bitcoin logo, but I kind of removed the Bitcoin logo. I asked them to it so that when I wear the shirt in like airports, someone really needs to know Bitcoin and they have to, or they read Japanese and they will be able to read that this says Satoshi and there's the birthday. So happy 15th birthday Bitcoin. Wow, I can't believe it's been 15 years. Now, I don't remember the first 4 years of Bitcoin's life because I was not paying attention to the space. I first heard about Bitcoin back in early 2011, thanks to Max Kaiser and RT channel that has now been banned in the United States. But that is where I first heard about Bitcoin, and it's been a pretty good ride. Down today, hence my background. And let's go to the charts and take a look. Hey, there's Satoshi Corner. You're in Thailand? Man, I need to go to Thailand. Don't dox too much, but like, where in Thailand are you? Hopefully, like, is it Bangkok? Is it Chiang Mai or Pattaya? It's a big difference between them. Let us know where you are. What's the target for the dip? 35K. No, I think it's over. I actually think it's over. Let's go to the charts. Let's go to the charts. Actually, I gotta reset my YouTube. Zoom is being difficult again starting this year. Medellin, Colombia. Man, haven't been there since 2017. Medellin's great. A lot of fun. All right, let me just mute this before I start repeating, and then we're gonna go to the charts. Man, I gotta get one of these punching bags. I'll probably use it a lot more often. Okay, let's go to charts, guys. How many live viewers we have? Wow, we're up to 300. Nice. Charts, charts, charts. Here we go. Huge having live stream. I don't know. I don't know if I can produce that. I should probably start getting that together now. Maybe. That'd be fun though. I might do it. The problem is, if I show you guys my schedule for the month, the day of the halving, I may be super busy, so that could create a problem. But yeah, let me think about that. Satoshi Corner is south of Pattaya. Okay. It's called Pretanak. I have not heard of it. Like the entire country of Thailand has become mini Russia, other than Bangkok, probably. Like I was in Phuket. When was it? In 22, I think. Maybe 6 months after the war started. And the first language you hear at the airport is Russian. Then you hear English. And then they say it in Thai. So it's Russian has become the dominant language of Phuket. Okay, daily chart. We had a full candle above the range. As I stated yesterday, we really needed the price of Bitcoin to get a lot closer to 50,000 in order for the top of the range to be considered support. Now, we did not get anywhere near there. We started falling with today's candle, and today's candle took us down all the way to the bottom of the range and back tested the moving average. So how do we navigate the rest of this candle? To me, it is actually pretty straightforward. This candle has a range of 2,000. Well, let's go with the body, right? So the body, the candle opens at exactly 45,000. The current close, the low of the candle was 40,500. So that makes the range from open to low $2,500. You split that range in half. So we go 1,000. Wait, what am I missing here? Oh, that's not the range of the candle. My bad. The range of the candle was actually 5,000. My bad. 4,500. You split that range in half. So we go up $2,500 from the bottom, right there. This is the halfway point between the opening of the candle and the bottom of the candle. I'm giving away secrets to tone Vays volume. Giving away the secret tone Vays volume here. The price of this candle needs to be above this middle area. And there's a little more criteria to the tone Vays volume. However, the biggest criteria is that the candle has rallied back more than half the crash of the candle, okay? And if today's candle can rally all the way back past the midpoint of that candle, the tone Vays volume will flip to green. And if the tone Vays volume flips to green, that means there is a high probability that the low from the crash is in, and we will continue going higher and still reach that $48,000 level before the inevitable drop. As an example of this, there are other criteria, however. It's not only that, because you can see on this candle, we did rally up more than half the body of the candle. So there is additional criteria. You will probably have to go maybe this high, and then you will see the volume turn green. I would love to see the volume turn green. Let me look for an example. We're looking for an example where the normal volume is red, but the tone Vays volume is green. Here is that example right here. This is the candle. Ironically, it's happening in a similar area. This candle right here has a green tone Vays volume. T-vol is green, but the regular vol is red. But if I was to have a trading bot using the tone Vays volume and only the tone Vays volume, this would be a bullish entry into a trade. And you can see what happened after this candle. I think this is the most recent instance. Here is a bit of the opposite. Here is a green regular volume, but a red tone Vays volume. And you can see the following day, there was a red candle. Now, the day after that, there was a green volume spike. But I do look for these discrepancies between the tone Vays volume and the regular volume. And it does not tell me what the market will do for the next month, but it is a great indication to me what the market will do for the next day. We can look for other discrepancies. Here's another example right here. But the volume also needs to be large. Like when it's like the lowest volume spike in a month, it doesn't mean much. So the volume size also matters when it comes to trading. But here's another example of where this is a positive tone Vays volume, but the size of that volume spike is very, very small. So I wouldn't expect much out of it. And yellow means it's a neutral candle. Okay, so we'll wait and see if Bitcoin is going to close above, let's say, 43,500. That is my line in the sand of a rally off this low. If Bitcoin can rally past 43,500 by end of candle, I'm not going to be too concerned over this candle. But if it cannot, if the price of Bitcoin remains as low as it is now, it is very concerning. If the price of Bitcoin is between the middle zone of 42.5 and 43.5, it's kind of in no man's land. So we're going to use this barometer. We're going to look at the shorter term chart. You know, when do you realize shit's hitting the fan on the 1 hour scale? It's a combination of a red star candle and the break of the prior swing low. So right here, and after a third of this candle has occurred, you need to realize that shit's getting ugly and you need to get out of your trades. On a shorter term scale, this purple line can be lowered a bit because on a shorter term scale, the swing low is here. So that's when you realize shit's hitting the fan. However, on a 10-minute scale, this is extension C buy and an MRI buy. So maybe you don't panic on this candle. Maybe you even go long on the MRI buy candle as it's giving you a green candle. However, you do need to realize that shit just hit the fan with the next red star candle breaking below the MRI candle. So if you are a short-term trader and you decided to, bottom chase and you decided to catch a falling knife, your falling knife should have been, you should have taken your loss the moment this giant candle began with the stop loss, because if you're not careful, in 10 minutes, you're in trouble. And if you sit here and say, well, it's already fallen so much, what's the worst that can happen? Well, wait 10 more minutes and then you find out. So what is happening now? Well, the answer is absolutely nothing. People are digesting this news. Everyone woke up to the crash at 7 in the morning New York time. No one knows what the hell is going on. There was an article by a Chinese media company started by Jihan Wu. Clearly, he's tired of mining empty blocks and decided to put out 2 articles. Let me see here. Empty blocks in the last 24 hours. They're always by Bitmain. They are still the worst actor in the space. There was one when I opened this up, but the good news is you can send your 50, 60 Satoshi per byte transactions and they are going through. That's the good news. Am I on a specific block? I'm looking at a block. Why am I looking at a block? I'm looking at a block again. Interesting. So difficulty adjustment in 3 days. The last difficulty adjustment was an increase of 7%, and we are on pace to increase the difficulty once again. Okay, so where were we here? I can get you the articles. What was the name of that silly publication? I've never even heard of it until today. Matrix Post, the real Matrix Post, has posted 2 articles in the last 24 hours. One, how the Bitcoin ETF will absolutely be approved, and one, how the Bitcoin ETF will absolutely be rejected. Obviously, the rejection one came more recently, and down goes Bitcoin. It continues to show you that Bitcoin still does not have enough value on chain that it can so easily sway with articles coming out of China. Now, as you guys know, I continue to say that the SEC is going to reject the Bitcoin ETF this week. I didn't expect the news to come today. As far as I know, the SEC has not yet made any announcements. If anyone is aware of the SEC making an announcement, let me know. And however, I think all SEC applications will be rejected this week and probably this month. The best approval for a Bitcoin ETF may come around March and around the halving. And I am still skeptical there will be an ETF approval this year. Joe Colasari thinks I'm crazy, but I will remain crazy as I have been since 2017. I remember the very first SEC rejection of the Winklevi ETF in 2017. And my view has not changed since that day, or before that day, when I was laughing at anyone who thought that the Winklevi would get their ETF approved. Bernoulli sent me a comment from the live chat. Hey, Tone, what are your thoughts on the fact that Bitcoin is set to make a yearly on the MRI? Unfortunately, you are incorrect, sir. The yearly MRI has come and gone. You are looking at a bad Bitcoin index. If you look at the Bitcoin index from TradingView or a Bitcoin index by Brave New Coin, BLX, which I kind of helped create back in the day, and you put on the annual chart, you will see that the annual MRI top took place in 2021. We have already pulled back and completed the 1 to 4 candle correction. So you are probably looking at a single exchange like a Coinbase, which started 2 years late, and therefore you are seeing the MRI on current candle. But the real MRI took place in 2021. And also, if you look at this, the very first year, it is 2009. We did get a couple of months in 2009. I really thought it was 2010. So even that year might have been delayed. But so the MRI called Bitcoin top perfectly on the annual scale. So please be aware of that. It called both the annual high and the annual closing high were both on an MRI top. What are the pros and cons to the ETF? The only pro to the ETF, well, there's 2 pros to the ETF. It does open up Bitcoin to more traditional investors. It opens up Bitcoin to those, mom and pops that follow BlackRock, small funds that follow BlackRock, and more money will flow into Bitcoin as the ETF buys Bitcoin to back the underlying exchange, the underlying asset. Now, the biggest con to the Bitcoin ETF is that it concentrates Bitcoin in possessions of financial institutions regulated by the United States. I believe one of the biggest dangers to Bitcoin is too much Bitcoin in regulated institutions. That is a huge danger to Bitcoin. You have Coinbase custody, you have Gemini, you have even Kraken. Now you have Barry Silbert and 600,000 Bitcoin. You have Michael Saylor. This Bitcoin is in American custody. Basically, the American government has promised the American corporations that they will not confiscate their assets, just like they promised Russia that they would not confiscate their Federal Reserve assets. And if you look at what's happening right now, should USA confiscate Russian assets, okay? And here it is. G7 leaders discuss the legal authority on seizing Russian assets. There is absolutely no difference between this headline and G7 leaders to discuss legal theory on seizing our custodied Bitcoin. There is absolutely zero difference in those two headlines. If you want a historical example, the FDR confiscation of gold in 1933, May 1st, 1933, was him confiscating all the gold from the custody of the banks on behalf of the people. There is absolutely no difference in Order 6102 or Executive Order 18,360, because that's probably how many executive orders have been created since 18,000, I say 180,000. Like every single president creates more and more executive orders than the president before him. How many executive orders? Oh, beautiful. By president. Excellent. Executive orders, the American Presidency Project. Okay, great. Show them to me. I need the quantity. I need a list. George Washington, 1 per year. Total 8. So you can see that Tone Vays's favorite president will probably be William Henry Harrison, because he created 0 executive orders. I've never even heard of him. Wow. I really thought I knew most American presidents, but I did not. So let's go. Let's go. Donald Trump, 220. That seems unreasonably high. But he was fighting Marxism, so maybe I'll give him a pass. I was close when I said 18,000. It was actually 14,000. Joe Biden, 130. Now, Joe Biden doesn't know how to write anymore, so I'm not sure who's writing these things. Obama, 276. George Bush, 291. Clinton, 364. All right, Clinton's the leader. Clinton, 364. Nixon, 346. Though I will say some of them have some of them are there for 2 terms. So Clinton, obviously, maybe it's the average per year. Jimmy Carter is our leader. Okay. So this is just a little bit of a tangent, just to be aware. What is this? Oh, years in office. Okay. Biden's been in office for 292. Okay. Oh, Biden's just getting started. That's right. But he's not going to get a second term. Well, I hope not. Anyway, you get the idea, right? So there was absolutely nothing stopping the current guy who tells Joe Biden what to do to creating an executive order confiscating all Bitcoin from all American custodied institutions. And that is the biggest danger to Bitcoin. A 4-hour chart. Whoa, beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I think people are realizing the fake news aspect of Jihan Wu's media publication, and people are not taking this drop seriously. Okay, another thing people have to realize, right? We have to go back to the stock market. The stock market drives a lot. I have been very, very clear that the NASDAQ and the S&P 500 are on a weekly MRI top, anticipating a 1 to 4 candle correction in traditional markets. This is the perfect area for a massive 1 to 4 candle correction to take place. And from there, we rise. Okay? I think I drew something similar in the S&P. Here it is. Okay? Now, when the stock market falls, everything is connected. Most trading is done by automated bot trading, not high-frequency trading, automated bot trading. High-frequency trading is a guy picking up pennies in front of a steamroller. Now, if that guy happens to be the Flash, he will be fine. So a couple of financial institutions do act like the Flash, where they don't have to worry about getting hit by the steamroller in their high-frequency trading operations. The shittier ones do get themselves in trouble. Now, most trading is done by bots. Now, the advantage of a bot is that a bot scours news headlines. And most people see the price drop. Most people see this candle, and they go, what the hell happened? And they go and look for the story. But the bots that made this happen had already read the story and traded on the story. Whether the story was fake news or real news becomes a job for the actual trader later on. But the bot acts on the story. Unless the bot wants to capitalize on people acting on the story. So what is happening right now is people realizing that there is absolutely no credibility to the Chinese propaganda in Jihan Wu's publication that the ETF is definitely going to get rejected. Let's see. Let me grab this. And this. So here is the matrix post from January 1st that the ETF will definitely pass and Bitcoin will be 50,000. And then today, you have this right here from the same publication. Why the SEC will reject Bitcoin spot ETF again, okay? And I've never heard of this thing. It has 21,000 followers, which is actually substantial when you're not shadow banned. When you're Tone Vays and you're shadow banned, 300,000 followers means nothing. But when you're not shadow banned, 10,000 followers is actually a lot. And people are absorbing the news that they don't know anything that they're talking about. And Bitcoin is now rising. But the stock market is still falling. So Bitcoin still has a headwind being the stock market. Yeah, and the exchanges will probably tell the SEC that they're not ready. Like, guys, I have been consistent. The SEC will come up with every excuse in the book to reject the Bitcoin ETF. I still think it'll get rejected. We can go back and look at tone volume. Tone volume is still red. We're waiting for tone volume to be green and potentially a bigger volume spike than the prior volume spike. Boom! Oh, you guys saw it live. Tone base volume flips to green. Exactly where I said it would be. How about that? Wow. Damn. How cool was that? Oh, it's back to red. Okay, so we wait till the end of candle. And we're going to keep an eye on the tone-based volume. Boom, there it is. It doesn't know what to do. It's flipping between red and green. It can't be yellow at this point, okay? So we wait and see. And you don't need me on a stream in 12 hours from now. You will know my view on Bitcoin for the next 24 hours based on whether the tone base volume is green or red. Though, since my laziness never released this publicly, I promise we will. There is a whole plan in place where I will just give my stuff away to the Financial Summit people, and they will just publish it under the Financial Summit brand. And all I want is a free invite to the Financial Summit event. That's all I want. I want it organized by someone else. I want the whole company ran by someone else. I want nothing to do with it. I just want to attend a cool event. Okay. Bitfarms. Someone asked for Bitfarms. Well, Bitfarms opened fairly low. They're bouncing back with the price of Bitcoin. I still think there's going to be some pullbacks. Notice how Bitfarms looks a lot like the S&P 500. That's the daily chart. Here's the weekly chart, right? Bitfarms looks a lot like the S&P. Bitfarms looks a lot more like the S&P than it does Bitcoin. This is what people need to understand. See, here is NASDAQ or S&P. This looks like this. It does not look like Bitcoin weekly chart. Right? Bitcoin weekly chart looks very different. So this goes to show you that Bitfarms, while being correlated to Bitcoin, is more correlated to the S&P 500 and NASDAQ than they are Bitcoin. What happened to the mempool fees back to 60? I don't know, maybe Udi and Eric Wall were partying too much and forgot to spam the Bitcoin blockchain with their scammy ordinals. Like, I have no idea, right? All I know is I'm happy that Bitcoin fees are now back to a reasonable amount. Crypto Commons, what the hell is People Shitcoin? Are you talking about a shitcoin named People? Or are you talking about people shitcoining? I've never heard of a shitcoin called People. There was a shitcoin called Shitcoin. Whoa. Yeah, but it went from like 2 cents to 4 cents, right? Like, does it matter? Like they went from 2 cents to 4 cents, right? Right. It went from 1.3 cents to 4 cents. So, like, it could be one guy, like the founder buying it, like creating buzz, making Tone Vays open up the scam on a chart, you know. 4-hour chart. Let's go. The 4-hour chart tops on an MRI buy. Interesting. We'll probably get, sorry, the MRI sell, the MRI top. I gotta start calling them MRI tops and MRI bottoms, not MRI buys and sells. MRI top, because I'm not gonna screw up a top and a bottom. And we're probably gonna get an MRI bottom on a 4-hour chart unless we go above 43.7, which I would like for us to do for the Tone Vays volume indicator. All right, we'll keep an eye on that. Hey guys, feel free to hit the like button if we have 500 people watching. Would be nice to get more than 5 likes. I have fully dropped monetization from these videos, so I hope you guys don't get any ads. Yeah, we got 21 likes. Thank you. Thank you for the 21 likes. All right, go back a little bit earlier where I talked about, the tone-based volume indicator, which will help me understand what I'm expecting tomorrow. All right, let's look at a few other markets. You can see how the crash has caused GBTC discount to go down. I still like this trend. As GBTC consolidates in stronger and stronger hands, the lows keep getting higher and higher, and GBTC discount will break out. Might not be a bad time to allocate some more, actually. Wonder how MicroStrategies is doing. Another option for Bitcoin exposure. See, big difference, MicroStrategies and Bitfarms. MicroStrategies opened up and traded down. Bitfarms opened down and traded up. Oh, actually, no, I'm sorry. That's a weekly chart. I'm not comparing apples to apples. My bad. My fault. Very similar to Bitfarms, opened down, doji candle. Do Matrix Port have, Port? I thought it was Matrix Post. I have no idea. Do they have any credibility? No, of course not. That's a cool looking chart, but no, they have no credibility whatsoever. One of the most largest and most trusted digital asset platforms. I mean, sure, they can say that, but no. No, they basically just proved it. Well, using the word manipulation as an excuse. Everything is heavily manipulated, right? Like, using the word manipulation while being a trader is an excuse. If you think that the market and Bitcoin are heavily manipulated, you should not hold either. Okay? If you feel that the guy with a lot of money at the poker table manipulates the poker game because he has more chips than you, you should not be playing poker. It's a bad hobby. So whenever someone says, I do not believe the markets are heavily manipulated, I believe that the markets act irrationally based on the headlines. And that is something that I live with as a market trader for 20 years. So saying that the markets are manipulated is an excuse to explain why your trade lost money. Okay? If you do feel that the market is heavily manipulated, you should not be in that market. And then you realize that it's every single market. So does the market act irrationally when a random headline with no credibility whatsoever gets pushed around the web? Sure. Okay. So you need to be prepared for that possibilities at all times. The Fed is speaking today. Interesting. The The next Fed FOMC meeting is not till the end of the month. Avatar Azul asks, Tone, have you ever tried LSD, MDMA, or mushrooms? The answer to all three is no. I have never tried any of those. I have also never tried cocaine. And I am not in a rush to do those things. I always say the joke. After 10 years of Wall Street, I've never witnessed anyone do cocaine in front of me. But the moment I joined the crypto space, oh boy, it was like a weekly occurrence. Yes, I did assume it was psychedelic mushrooms. And this is the reason why me living in Dubai would not be a problem, because I do not do substances. Obviously, I have not tried crystal meth. Though I did like the show Breaking Bad. That was really cool. You can also say that the markets were manipulated by a Chinese headline. Okay, where were we? Yeah, you know, substances is not one of my vices. Alcohol and the female gender keeps my life exciting enough. No, I don't. I don't do weed either. I don't. What do people call it these days? You know, it's weed, marijuana, ganja, whatever you want to call it. Have I tried it? Yes. Do I do it? No. I think I've tried an edible one time. That really effed me up. I tried an edible once and tried it a few times, smoking. I don't know, not my thing. But unlike the rest of the stuff, at least I've tried it. Right? Yeah, I enjoy a good cigar every now and then. Hey, Tony, you have any suggestions about anxiety medication? Um, Honestly, how to get rid of anxiety? I don't think medication gets rid of anxiety. Um, I think diet and exercise gets rid of anxiety. I'm not exactly sure what anxiety even is, to be honest with you. I don't know if I suffer from it. Um, so I, man, these are fun discussions. I know we should be looking at the price of Bitcoin. So I am dyslexic when it comes to the art of language, not spoken language, but written language. I'm actually dyslexic. I can't tell you with a 100% certainty because I've never been diagnosed. I've never went to the doctor to diagnose me with a written evaluation on my reading and writing dyslexities. And they're not limited to the English language. My first language was Russian. And I couldn't pass. I mean, I was failing Russian classes in grade school in Russia. And then I was failing English classes in America. I wasn't actually failing them. I was smart enough to pay other people to do my book reports, but because I was a little savvy by then. But the thing is, back in Russia, where I spent my first 10 years of my life, there was no concept of a learning disability. There were people with good grades, and there were idiots. Okay, there was no concept. There was either you are mentally challenged. Back in the day, we used to say the word retarded. It's politically incorrect now, right? But there was no concept, oh, this person has a learning disability, but they can function well within a society. Like, I can function well within a society. I mean, I'm running a YouTube channel and I have 100,000 followers, right? So I am socially capable. I, have a normal-ish life, okay? But I do have a learning disability when it comes to reading and writing. Some people have a learning disability when it comes to math. They just can't do math. I can do math really well. But back in a country like Russia, there was no concept of this, right? Either you are mentally challenged, where your parents have to dress you, or you're an idiot, right? Like, there was no in between, right? You're not trying hard enough. You're just, there was no concept of having a learning disability. Like I can't spell. I read at maybe a 5th grade level even today. So because of that, I never had an opportunity to be diagnosed with my English learning disability or language learning disability. And by the time, it was realized that, maybe this person has a learning disability, I was already in college, right? Like prior to me going to college, between, my early on teachers and the other teachers, and when my teachers would speak to my parents when I was in high school, they're like, he has a serious problem reading and writing. And my parents were like, Cohen, why are you such a fucking idiot? Like, you need to study. You need it just wasn't accepted that there's such a concept as a learning disability. So I went through my entire, high school, junior high school, grade school life, that I was just an idiot that wasn't trying hard enough to read to read and write. Meanwhile, my math grades and science grades are A's, unless the science class required writing, which ironically biology and geology did, but not physics and chemistry. I aced physics and chemistry, no problem. So, where was I going with this? Shit, I already forgot how I got onto this topic. Man, how did I get started on this? Shit. See, that I don't think is a learning disability. That's just me maybe getting old. Oh, anxiety. So again, I'm not really sure what anxiety is. Like, one of the problems with the Western society in America is that every little thing has a diagnosis and and they kind of baby you into a lot of this stuff. So to me personally, I think getting on a proper diet and a proper workout plan and spending more time outdoors and less time being stressed out by things. Like, the reason why I can listen to Geopolitics all day is because it doesn't stress me out. Now, what stresses me out is not keeping up with stuff. So maybe I have a little bit of an anxiety, but like, I know it's my own problem. So for example, right? For example, if I go to YouTube, right, and I go to, so YouTube organizes stuff really well. So the only reason why I'm subscribed to this channel is actually because I was on this channel. It's Bloomberg out of Dubai, but I don't watch it because it's in Arabic. So I probably should unsubscribe because it's always in my way. Let me do that. Or at least like drop notifications. Maybe I don't want to unsubscribe, but Okay, yeah, I don't want notifications from this because it's in Arabic. I'm not going to understand what they're saying. But I was on the channel when I was in Dubai. So Judge Napolitano does like 5 videos a day, and I really like them, but it's very hard to find the time to listen to all of them. Military Summary does 2 episodes a day, and I watch them all. Okay, I need to know what's going on the ground. The Duran does at least 1 show a day, sometimes 2, and sometimes they're 15 minutes, and sometimes they're 3 hours long. And I'm trying to watch them all, okay? So I guess the anxiety that I get is trying to keep up with geopolitics, and I like watching the new Atlas, okay? These two are basketball and just 2 channels. Well, that one, not so much, but I really like Johnny Arnett's basketball channel, and I like to keep up with some sports news and stuff. But these are the YouTube channels that I watch. You know, like you have to go down a long way to find a Bitcoin channel. Like I have friends, like friends at Swan, friends, Simply Bitcoin, right? But these Bitcoin channels, they're not going to teach me anything new. I already know the stuff. I already understand Bitcoin, okay? Amit Sangupta put out a new video. Wow, I need to watch that. Okay, but these are short. These are like 10 minutes, and he puts them out like once a week. This is easy to stay on top of, right? So, but the whole concept of anxiety, right? You just got to get on an exercise plan, get on a good diet plan, and things that stress you out, just take it easy on those things. That's it. There's no medication that is needed for anxiety, in my opinion. In my opinion. Now, there are exceptions. One of the 3 books I ever read in my life was called Prozac Nation. Prozac Nation was one of maybe 5 books I've ever read. Because again, I pay people to write my book reports because I did not have the ability to read a book. It's just not something I can do. But there was a book called Prozac Nation, I think. And I did read this book. So obviously, some people, this is the first, it was about the life of the first person to ever be put on Prozac, which I believe is an anxiety drug, right? And it's a very interesting book. Oh, I listened to everything on 2x speed. I actually needed faster than 2x. I can listen and comprehend. I just can't read. I'm going to the sauna later today. Ice baths, cold exposure, heat exposure. Like listen to Andrew Huberman's podcast. Very good podcast. Very good YouTube channel. Okay, let's get back to the chart. How many people did I lose with that discussion? But yeah, like throughout my entire life of me not being able to, barely passing reading and writing courses, there was no concept of, you have a problem. The solution was, why are you being lazy? I'm like, I can't be that lazy. I'm acing my math and science. Like, there has to be something wrong here. And they're like, nope, you're being lazy. And I dealt with it. I found workarounds. All right, I don't really have much else to say. Natural gas is rising. Oil is rising. Not much, but rising. I really think a good diet and exercise solves 99% of all potential medical problems. So here's the Bitcoin monthly chart. We're still on pace for an MRI top at 50,000 or higher. The Bitcoin quarterly chart is looking good as well. Green star candle, beautiful. Quarterly chart did a good job calling the top in 2017. Decent job calling the top in 2013-14. And probably too early to call too early to call the top in 2011. Indicator was not useful. Crypto factor, Happy New Year, man. Yeah, you gotta reduce the sugar. Yeah. I mean, like, look, gluten just turns into sugar, but you gotta reduce the artificial sugar. Like, step number one in a proper diet is reducing all additional sugar. Step number two is reducing the gluten. Great tequila also helps on medical issues. I don't know if I'd go that far. Again, listen to Andrew Huberman's podcast about alcohol. He'll tell you that even a sip of wine once a year is a disaster to your brain. Well, yeah, no, of course you could have sold for 12 bucks. You could have bought back at like 3. Remember, you could have sold at $12 here and buy it back for like $2 here, right? I mean, this right here is 6 bucks. This over here is 12. Yeah, if I go to the monthly chart, I mean, how do you say the indicator was not useful if you can sell here at 15 and buy back later? Even if you waited all the way to the green star. You sell on you sell on MRI plus weakness. A red candle is weakness. You can wait all the way till the green star, right? So you're selling on this candle at $15, 14 worst case scenario, and you're buying back here at $8. You bought back at half the price. And you waited a year to do so, right? So you technically could have used that money for something else for an entire year. Or just, stayed relaxed and didn't panic. Now, had you sold here at 6 cents, well, yeah, that's a little more troublesome, but then you can get back in at 32 cents and ride it all the way to 17 bucks. Still a good bet. Yeah, Fortaleza is one of my 3 top tequilas. It has now been narrowed down to the brands of Fortaleza, G4, and El Tesoro. Those are my top 3 brands of tequila. Now, there are individual bottles like Tears of Lorena that will be above them. But as far as Tone, what are your top 3 tequila brands? The brands would be Fortaleza, G4, and El Tesoro. I don't care about the CME gap. I think we've been live for an hour, right? I think it's time to call it a day. Look, the weekly chart still looks very strong. It's a green candle set to close at the highest weekly close we've ever had. So I don't see much of a concern yet. The allocation chart is also not concerning. The allocation chart has the price above all the moving averages. They're all pretty much rising, though they're not exactly all above the other. But next candle, if next candle closes above the blue moving average, you will see the orange moving average jump above the blue as well. I am not the person to go to for female advice, trust me. But I do okay. I just don't brag about it or post about it. Mi Familia Extra Añejo. Unfortunately, that one keeps getting lower down my list as I learn to understand tequila better and better. Where is the Tone Vays tequila document? Oh, I can't drag it in there? Why not? Oh, that sucks. Okay, I'll do it this way. You know, I keep updating my tequila document. So the only tequila brands that are in the A+ category by brand are Fortaleza, G4, El Tesoro, and Valance. But for some crazy reason, Valance does not have an añejo. Añejo is my favorite reasonably priced tequila. And Valance doesn't have it, which is weird. And meanwhile, Fortaleza doesn't have an extra añejo, which is annoying as well. This is why G4 is my default go-to tequila, and El Tesoro as well. And the reason why they're the only brands in the A+ category is because they're the only brands where every single bottle of their tequila uses an oven to cook the agave, uses a tahona wheel to crush the agave, and does not put any additives. That's it. That is the list. There's only 4 brands in the world that are readily available around the world. There are other brands, but like you've never heard of them, and neither have I. So there's only 4 brands. That's it. That's the list. And while if you go into individual bottles, like Tears of Lorena is the gold standard of what an extra añejo is, but it is a $300 bottle. It is not a brand. It only has this one bottle. That's all they make. They do not use an oven. They do not use a tahona. they use a method that is less traditional, which in general means it's not as good, but they specialize in this one tequila, and it's probably the best tequila you'll ever taste, okay? At the $300 price range. Are there more expensive tequilas? Sure. Are they better than this? I'm not sure. That I'm not sure, right? So back in the day, before I really understood tequila, the Herradura Selection Suprema was at the top of my list, and it has now been completely downgraded. And I really should downgrade it further, but because it was my favorite for so long before I knew better, now the Herradura brand is actually ranked really low, because if you get to the Herradura brand, it would not even be in B+. It would be in that Don Julio category. And by the way, as I continue my understanding of tequila, Patron keeps moving up and Don Julio keeps moving down. So don't be surprised if I'm ranking Patron significantly higher than Don Julio, because it is actually debatable whether Patron puts additives in their tequila, but it's pretty obvious that Don Julio does. So Patron used to be confirmed additive free, but not anymore. And Herradura is not a good tequila. And while and Jose Cuervo is non-drinkable acid thermal ethanol. Like, this is Jose Cuervo. And while they do their best to give you one good bottle with their Jose Cuervo Reserva de Familia, it has so much food coloring in it and flavor additives that it doesn't look natural at all. So I don't think it has a lot of sugar additives, but what you need to stay away from is things like this, Clase Azul, with a rating of F, and it will cost you $2,000. If you go to the Reposados, you get a lot more A pluses because, brands make several different Reposados. But once again, oven, Tahona, no additives. I don't smoke weed, guys. I don't. You can't compare the Bitcoin scenario you just laid out to be the same as the SEC or G7 going after Bitcoin. This might be a reference to something I said earlier about the government confiscating Russian funds. I see no difference between the US government confiscating Russian money at the Fed or the US government confiscating Bitcoin from Coinbase, Barry Silbert, and other custodies. I don't see a difference. Where does Epsilon fall? You know what, guys? Why don't I just post the document link into the live chat, and you guys are welcome to figure out and check where Epsilon falls. But remember, what is this tab? That doesn't belong here. Again, there is brands, and then there is individual bottle types. Goes to Reposados, Cristalinos, which I can't stand. There is no A+ in the Cristalino category. It's mostly a bunch of garbage. Añejo is what I normally drink because Bitcoin is not $1 million. And when Bitcoin is over $1 million a coin, you will never see me drink an Añejo unless it's a Fortaleza, because Fortaleza does not make extra Añejo. Epsilon is actually a good tequila for its price. It's probably going to be in the B minus range. It's in the B range. It's a low shelf tequila, B rank that is better than Herradura. Patron should probably move up. I need to raise Patron. Patron is actually not a bad tequila. It's just more expensive. I'm going to re-rank these soon. Like, you have to factor price into the consideration. Got to factor price in. You know, Epsilon for the price is awesome. But, like, I would rather drink Epsilon than Clase Azul, which charges you $2,000 for an extra añejo and like $100 for a Blanco. Avatar Azul asks, what is CSTAT? I have no idea what CSTAT is. And if I wrote something CSTAT, that's my dyslexia showing, because I'm sure I meant to write something else. And watch these videos too. Like, these links are there for a reason. All right, charts. Yeah, we got to wait on the daily chart. We got to wait on where the daily chart lands. I still believe the ETF is going to get rejected. If this news is going to keep us on trend for an ETF rejection, then the top is already here. Is it possible to set up any kinds of alerts in TradingView? It is kind of possible to set up alerts, but if you need alerts with the MRI, there is literally an alert trading service that has been built, but it's not free. There's an alert trading service. The Financial Summit YouTube channel will start making dedicated videos to the MRI alert notification service. This is literally why it was built, because TradingView does not do a good job with MRI alerts. So there is a service. It is not free. The service does cost like $50 a month. But if you need these alerts and your trades are making you more than $50 a month, it is well worth the money. So for those that need MRI alerts, there's a whole service that has already been built. And this service probably cost over $100,000 to build in effort and work and data feeds. This was a multi-year effort to build this. Oh, why does the US want to start a war with Serbia? Once again, I don't want to have this discussion after the show has been going for an hour and a half. Europe and the West hates Serbia. The reason they hate Serbia is because Serbia doesn't bow down to the will of the World Economic Forum. Serbia is a more aggressive Hungary. Serbia wants the sovereignty of their own country and make their own decisions for their own nation. And similar to what do you call it? Oh man, what's that country? Hold on. I'm in Panama. That's obvious. Man, what's that African country that just kicked out the French? And there ain't nothing the West was able to do about it. Niger. Niger just kicked out their French overlords that were getting very cheap nuclear material from them. Mali has already kicked out their European overlords, thanks to the Russian military, helping them. Now, we can debate whether it's good or bad. We can debate whether the West continuing to colonizing Africa is good or bad for Africa. I mean, South Africa, I think, has been going down the toilet since they kicked out their Western overlords. But it depends, right? It depends on the leadership of your country. When the leadership of your country kicks out your Western rulers, your country may turn into, the movie Escape from New York and turn into a total shit show, which is what I feel has been happening with South Africa. Or your country can actually thrive. And Serbia is the most anti-West Europe country because they don't want the West meddling in their affairs. And because of that, they all hate Serbia. And the US has basically been helping Kosovo become an independent nation out of Serbia. So everything the US has done to assist Kosovo is what they say Russia is evil for doing to assist Western Ukraine, right? Or Crimea. And the goal of the United States is to subvert Serbia, but Serbia fought the Nazis too. Like Serbia stood up. Serbia is the country that does not like to be taken over. Like Serbia, Malta. There's a couple of countries that, like Scotland, though they eventually merged. But isn't it weird how England controls half the world, but they can never control Scotland? Though eventually they merged, right? But it was more peaceful eventually. But America would love to start a war with Serbia in order to weaken the Serbian government, to overtake the Serbian government, to add another country into their NATO alliance against Russia, and to weaken Russia because Russia is one of the biggest supporters of Serbians' continued independence and not be, brainwashed by Western ideology. Hence, the continued civil war between Kosovo and Serbia completely instigated and backed by the West and the United States. By the way, I may get a chance to go and speak at the World Economic Forum, and if I do, I'll go and do it. I'll teach them about Bitcoin and why they will never control Bitcoin. I mean, not everyone at the World Economic Forum is a bad actor. Only the leaders. It's like Giacomo's favorite tweet about shitcoiners. Not all of you are scammers. Most of you are just stupid. Only the leaders are scammers. Most people that follow Hex are just stupid, but the leaders are scammers. All right, last question. Tone, what do you think about the Fatwa Saudi cleric wrote stating that Bitcoin is now acceptable in Islam and is no longer haram? Was news yesterday. That sounds like great news. I haven't been to Saudi yet. I really want to go, though. I don't have a strategy for the flash crash, guys. Right now, it's in a no trade zone. Anything in this consolidation is in a no trade zone. If we go up above the consolidation again, I become very bullish. I have a lot of distrust of Malay. I think Malay has a lot of great ideas, but he also has a lot of dumb ideas. And his dumb ideas are potentially worse for Argentina than his good ideas. I think Argentina is going to be in, I'm not going to say an equal mess. I think Argentina is going to be in a different mess in 3 years, and it's going to be equally as bad. It's just going to be different. I don't think Malay is going to bring Argentina to the forefront of, like, Malay is no Bukele. Let's put it that way. I mean, the fact that America is happy that Malay won should tell you something. I would love to visit Belgrade. I always get Belgrade and Belfast confused. Like, it's, again, my dyslexia in action. I always have to like think for 15 seconds, which one is in Ireland and which one's in Serbia. I really want to go to Serbia and I really want to go to Hungary. I have not been to either country. Like, you can see where I've been. That's Chernobyl, by the way. In case anyone's curious what I'm doing in the middle of nowhere in Ukraine, that's Chernobyl. Yes, I've been there. So you see where I've been. And I have not been to Serbia. I have not been to Hungary. I have not been to Croatia. These are on the next time I go anywhere near this region, I want to go to these 3 places. Also never been to Albania. Tone, what advice would you give to someone living in Argentina earning 150 US dollars per month? The advice I would give them is there is this incredible free resource called YouTube. And on YouTube, you can learn to do absolutely anything. And if you can learn to do something well, like graphic design or video editing, you can find a job on the internet that pays you in Bitcoin that will easily earn you more than $150 a month. That is my advice for someone living in Argentina. And you hold on to as much of that Bitcoin as you can. Now, would I have voted for Malay? The answer is yes, probably, because the other guys are business as usual. I would have voted for the guy that wants to bring Argentina into the BRICS. Malay is not allowing Argentina to join the BRICS, which is the biggest mistake Argentina can possibly make. It's the solution to using the US dollar in Argentina to stop their inflation is a shittier plan than Argentina joining the BRICS and allowing the economic cooperation with Brazil, India, Russia, and China to stabilize your country's currency is a way better plan than switching from the Argentinian peso to the dollar. So Malay's ridiculous plan to not allow Argentina to join the BRICS is so much worse for the Argentinian economy than his intention to stabilize the currency with the US dollar. BRICS is a lifeline for Argentina. Brazil literally begged BRICS to add Argentina. Nobody in the BRICS wanted to add Argentina. The BRICS is probably happy as a pig in shit right now that Argentina is turning down their offer for economic cooperation. All right, how many people did I lose? Let's see how many. 500 still watching. Awesome. Thanks for the likes, guys. Oh yeah, no, I might go to Argentina later this month because I'm somewhat close. Yeah, I'd love to eat a $10 tomahawk. Like I have a lot of friends that have been going to Argentina lately. They were praying Malay doesn't win. They love the fact how cheap everything is. All right, guys. On this note, I'm gonna get going. It's already noon. Got more work to do. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you all on the next one. Not much to say, really. I mean, as long as we're holding this, we're okay. It does need to go up now, like now. Like starting with this candle, we need to start to go up. Still 7 minutes to go in this 10-minute candle, but it wants to go down. Not happy. Bye, guys.